Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Well, today's video is a little different. This video, I want to speak directly to those of you that are really serious about what's going on, serious about preparing, serious about getting your life in the place that it needs to be because of the world around us. I don't care what the trolls say. I don't care what the naysayers say. And I'm not specifically talking about your physical preparedness. I mean, that's part of it. And that's always part of it. But that's certainly not the only thing that I'm talking about. In fact, what I'm really focused on is your spiritual preparedness. The preparedness in your heart, and the preparedness also in your mind. Full disclosure on this video is that I was inspired by another YouTube channel. Many of you probably already seen it. If you haven't, you should go watch Wrangle Star's video from a couple of days ago. I believe it's titled, "It's Time to Fight." It was a very inspiring video. Definitely one of the best, if not the best videos I've ever seen him make. And he made a pledge on there to kind of change course a little bit in the videos that he does. And I definitely look forward to that. Not that I always agree with everything he says. He has one of the largest audiences of this type of genre, I guess you could say, of videos. And he has the greatest potential, probably, if not the greatest, definitely almost the greatest, of really reaching people with this kind of message. I get on here and I talk a lot about all the stuff going on. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. We all are aware of that, right? We've all complained about it. We complain in the comment section. We complain online. We complain with each other, with our spouses. And for those of you, again, that are serious about this, you also are doing what you can to prepare for this. And you've been, probably many of you, if not most, have sensed the urgency because of the changing of the, let's call it weather, the changing of the what's going on around us, that you've realized that this isn't a little game anymore, and this can't just be considered a hobby, and that this can't just be kind of a something you do when you have nothing else to do, or something to spend your money on, that you know, when you have just a little excess money at the end of the month that you kind of throw towards this. Many of you have sensed the urgency that the time is now, and the time is drawing near for us to be in a place where we really need to be prepared. I consider this the end times, probably not in so much the theological sense of, you know, an immediate time leading up to the returning of our Savior, but it is, I believe, a time leading up to that. And how long that will be, none of us know. It could be weeks, months, years, decades, generations. But we are definitely seeing that clock tick closer and closer to midnight. And I cannot imagine how much longer we could exist in this world with it continually worsening. So many of us feel that tug. We know that it's time, and we know that it's time to get serious. And excuse me, watching his video, I felt very convicted. That I wasn't doing enough. I wasn't hitting the mark that I intended to when I started this channel, and that I have intended to do many times since starting it. And that is not just giving you information, not just letting you know what's going on or the best ways to do something, but also waking you up spiritually. And I don't believe it's because I've ever been ashamed of that. It's just that I haven't made it the focus that we need to. And just like how Wrangle Star said, I can't do that anymore. I can't continue making these videos and not make it very clear to those of you watching where my stance is. And I do, you know, I am much like what he said, and this is why one of the things that really hit home to me when he was making that video is that I am not one of those kind of people that get caught up on labels, that get caught up on, you know, where you find yourself in a spiritual sense, or where you find yourself, you know, in biblical theology or anything like that. Everyone has their own walk, and that is between you and the Father. I mean, that's pretty much plain and simple to me, because I don't believe that one particular denomination or one particular belief, when it comes to Christianity or a biblical belief system, is the right one. I don't believe that, you know, the Baptists have it all right, or the Methodists, or the Presbyterians, or the Pentecostals, or even the Torah observant ones. I don't believe any of them hold the keys to the absolute truth of the Bible. I believe it's more on an individual level, because I've seen people of all these different denominations that I think have a pretty good grasp of what is meant for us and what is laid out for us in the good book. And I've seen many of all these different beliefs that probably haven't quite got it yet. I've said this before, and I do truly mean this. All this stuff that we're seeing happen, I mean, sure, it's part of the Great Reset. Sure, it's part of, you know, a global takeover and a global, you know, push for global governance. And sure, it's part of an Agenda 21 or Agenda 2030 or whatever, 2050 or whatever one that's been, you know, devised by elites. Sure, this is all part of, you know, moving to a more socialistic, communistic, Marxist left. And sure, it's about, you know, it could be about depopulation. It could be because they're preparing us and preparing themselves for a collapse of civilization, and on and on and on. You get the picture, right? But in the end, what this is really about, it's really about spiritual warfare. That is what's going on. And so that's what I believe, and I'm pretty confident that he's talking about when he says it's time to fight. And I want to just extend that even further. As folks, we are at war. That one little statement might get me banned, or at least this video removed. But I'm telling you, folks, we are at war already. It's spiritual warfare, mind you. But I don't believe that there is any kind of warfare that is more important. And will that eventually bleed over? Pardon the term, but bleed over into a more physical type of warfare? Very possibly. And if what I read in the good book is correct, it most definitely will. When will it happen? Who knows? And will we be the ones that witness that? Who knows? But I'm telling you, folks, it's time to get ready. It's time to get serious. Every day we're seeing more and more in the news, more and more happen around us, more and more of the shifting and the changing of tides that indicate that the world that we live in is reaching a pivotal point of just wickedness and evil. You know, I remember just not that long ago, not too many years ago, many of us used to say, yeah, you know, they may be the loud portion of society, but you know, us traditional, conservative-minded people, we're still the silent majority. I don't know that I believe that anymore. I don't know that that's still the truth. I hope that it is, but I don't think that it is, because we're seeing more and more people that you would think would be part of that conservative, traditional value, biblical value, silent majority, to kind of fall away and give up ground and collapse and give in to all this wicked and worldliness. I have no doubt that probably people my age, and if not younger, but I would say the majority of us watching, majority of you watching this video, is going to see a day to where folks that think like you and I, that our rights and our privileges are going to be highly, highly restrictive. I could see, and we're already seeing it in other parts of the world, And we've already heard whispers of it here in America, to where folks that are like you and I aren't able to purchase the basic needs that we need to live by. I watched a video this morning of a mother videotaping it in a doctor's office, and she took her son, he looked to be maybe a preteen or a younger teenager, and took him in, and he had some sort of infection. I don't believe it even said what it was. And the doctor confirmed that that's what the problem was, but then told them that because they didn't have this, that they refused to treat them and walked out of the room. And eventually, you know, the mother was trying to get some answers as to why this was happening, and the doctor and the staff ended up calling security and the police to have her removed. There's been other stories of people that's been refused medical transplants, life-saving transplants, because they didn't have it. Do you think that it's going to be that big of a transition to say that you can't come buy groceries if you don't have it? You can't keep getting your monthly check if you don't have it? I mean, how many people already have lost their jobs because they don't have it? A day of reckoning is coming, folks. And I'm not saying that to get you to be afraid or to get you to click the video even and share it around. I'm telling you, unless something miraculous happens, history has proven that this path always leads into one direction. It always leads into destruction. It always leads into takeover. It always leads into death. Always, without a doubt. And we are headed down that path, and we're heading down that path quite quickly right now. On a daily basis, things are changing. The president yesterday said that absolutely police and firemen should be fired if they don't fall in line and do what they're told. Absolutely. And get the thing, you know. Fire them all. Have you ever heard those kind of words from a president? Does that sound like something that someone would say if they're all about individual freedom? No. It's time to get serious, folks. It's time to prepare yourselves, but it's more importantly time to prepare yourselves spiritually. More and more over the past few months, and it's so interesting. Father works in mysterious ways. The testimony that Wrangle Star, that Cody over there had said, it fits perfectly with what I was thinking too. Over the last few months, I find myself drawn more and more into the Word, more and more into prayer, more and more into focus, trying to clearly focus. You know, I imagine it being like a camera lens or a telescope, and you're sitting there just working that aperture, trying to focus it in a little bit more. I find myself doing that. And I believe it's because the Father is calling his children. Not just the ones that warm pews, not just the ones that wear a certain, you know, thing around their neck, or they carry a certain book in their hand and they make all these claims, but the ones that truly in their heart are really changed and have really repented and are really walking that narrow way that he laid out for us. I think he's wakening them up. I think he's calling them. I think that's why we're seeing many of us move to different areas of the country, because we're being called to get out of these cities of ill repute and wickedness. We're feeling that, we're hearing that, we're sensing that drawing and that calling to wake up, to sharpen yourselves, hone yourselves, and put on that armor. Get it all polished and get it ready, because there is a battle coming. There's a battle that's already here. The spiritual warfare is that battle. And men and women, you need to get serious. Get your families ready. When I tell you to get your house in order, I am dead serious about that. Get your houses in order. They are going to come at you with every tool that they can, every trick in the book. They know this game quite well. And I think many of us sit back and we still say, well, it could get that bad, but this is still America. We still have a constitution. We still have this basic belief of rights. We still have this and this and this because it's America. If you haven't figured it out yet in the last year and a half, 2 years, they don't care about that. That means absolutely nothing to them. In fact, they're banking on the fact that you're not going to do anything because you still believe that, so that they can just steamroll right over you. Get yourselves ready, folks. Find people that are like-minded and like heart. Connect with them. Build some kind of relationship with them, because you're going to need each other. And you're probably going to need each other much sooner than you think. Revisit your physical preparedness. Do you have enough food? Do you have the water source that you need and the ability to clean it? Do you have the tools that you need? Do you have enough seeds to grow food? Because I'm telling you, that's coming too. Do you have the ability to preserve those foods, to grow and raise your own food, to hunt and to forage? Do you have the ability to treat injuries and illnesses and wounds? Do you know what's out here in the countryside of what can help you treat those things? Do you have the things to protect yourself? Do you have the things to take care of your family? You don't need as much as a lot of us on YouTube kind of make it sound like. And none of us are there. None of us are all that. I mean, even Wrangle Star, he's definitely got, more than a lot of people and has the big channel and probably a lot more money. And he doesn't even have it all yet. But we have the mind and the heart to keep fighting, to keep pushing forward, to keep preparing ourselves, to keep aligning our hearts, our souls, our families' hearts and souls more and more focused in, more and more on the Father in heaven. That's what we have to do. Now's not the time to panic. Now's not the time to give up. Now's not the time to think that it's just too much and we're too overwhelmed. Now is the time to be serious. Now is the time to be focused. Now is the time to hone your edge, folks. There are things coming down this road that we're on that's going to shock us and that's going to blow our minds. I do believe that. And we need to be very focused and ready for that. Get your houses in order, folks. Prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and most especially spiritually. And if you haven't done so, you need to start taking time every day to do that. Get on your knees, open your book, open that Bible, and start reading it. Start praying, and start finding others that think and believe like you, and connect with them, and pray together, and read together, and do all the other things that you need to do with them to get yourselves prepared. Because the Father is calling his children. He's calling his children. He's letting us know. He's waking us up that the times have changed, and that they're going to get worse, and we need to get ready. All right, folks. Thank you all for watching. Catch you in the next video.